Saturday Social is powered by FIFA 22 with PlayStation.
We've asked our guests to come up with a signing for every club in the upcoming window. Now, they'll both pitch why that player should be signed, and if they can't agree, it comes down to you and me based on the best argument.
Okay, it's going to be tough, and we will be talking about Haaland, don't worry. I'm sure he will come up within this chat at some stage. We're going to start in alphabetical order with Arsenal. Rory, let's come to your first pitch of a player for Arsenal to sign in the summer. I don't want you to put it up yet, because you might not win this argument.
OK, I'm confident, though. That's how confident I was. I was
You
going to
seem
go straight
it.
for the
Yeah, you were
whiteboard.
going for the board.
This is one that I really hope doesn't happen, but it's Tammy Abraham to Arsenal.
Ooh.
I feel like it's such a natural
Wow.
fit. Well, do you know, as highly as I rate him, I was heartbroken when he left Chelsea. Such a good goal scorer, such a guaranteed goal scorer. I think that people are harsh about the way that he plays the game, you know, slightly harsh about his first touch and things like that. I love him, but despite the fact that he came through Cobham, he is an Arsenal fan.
Originally, yeah.
And I think that when you think about what Arsenal season has become, particularly up until what happened in midweek, Lacazette, Eddie Nketiah, they scored one goal between them all year, up until the other night at Stamford Bridge, which I'm trying to forget about. So Tammy Abraham's guarantee of goals, I think, could be exactly what Arsenal need. It feels like a natural fit for me, this one.
The fan thing actually nearly won me over immediately.
Yeah.
I was like, because now they can sing the whole "He's One of Our Own." I know Southerners love that song in a big way, so we can go with that. I have gone a little bit more of a hipster's choice, and based on recency bias, because I saw him play the other week. Darwin Núñez, Benfica.
Yeah.
We're talking goals, goal machine, absolutely tearing up the Premier League this season. 22 years old, so he might be slightly on the younger side. I think Arsenal probably could do with someone who's more 25, 26, but he's going to make a big move this summer. Arsenal are crying out for someone who offers a more combative way to play football, I think. You know, and he's got that like street fighter quality.
Let me tell you what he doesn't offer. He doesn't offer guarantees in the Premier League. This here is a guaranteed Premier League success.
15 goals in his first season, Tammy Abraham.
Only
in
the
Premier League
15?
with Chelsea, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. No, but also what he brings with him is baggage. And if he's rubbish or you know, in a game against Chelsea and he doesn't perform, he can be, oh no, he's one of our own, and then you can sing that as well. And I think that's the problem. I think Arsenal fans need a bit of a clean break from banter, and bringing in someone from the continent who doesn't carry with them any bags, any missed chances, any clips of him being rubbish. No clips of this guy being
Well,
rubbish.
then, can you two decide, or do we need to make a decision for you?
Paul, do the right thing. Be the man that you want to be. Be true to yourself. Tammy Abraham makes so much more sense.
He doesn't score enough goals. Look, you guys are going to have to decide.
All right, well, I think... Go on, you can make this decision, because you're...
I think Tammy's going to cost too much money this summer. £80 million is Chelsea's buyback next summer. So goodness gracious, I don't know how much he's going to be this summer. And mainly because I don't want to see him in an Arsenal shirt. Darwin, get on the board.
I mean, that's
Darwin,
good.
get on the
That's
board.
good.
Thank you, mate. OK, then, we'll move on to our next club then, alphabetically. So Aston Villa. What are our choices, Paul? Who have you going for?
Felipe Coutinho, it's an obvious one. Obviously, he's there already, and I must admit, I think we've got a few of those who are like, they're already there, so it's not as sexy getting a player who's already there on loan, but he's a difference maker, isn't he?
Yeah.
Absolutely phenomenal footballer. It's mad that he's in this situation where he's not playing at one of the absolute top level clubs, given particularly what Barcelona paid for him, thankfully. No, he's great. He's a difference maker. Villa should just get that boxed.
OK, Rory.
I have gone for a reunion of sorts.
OK.
I have gone for the Glenn Kamara reunion with Steven Gerrard. I think he would add that steel in the midfield. I am probably on my own here, but I think that Aston Villa are still involved in a potential relegation fight. So the thought of Coutinho, signing Coutinho, I think that could be a little bit far-fetched if, like, they're struggling for wins, they've lost 4 in a row. Somebody like Glenn Kamara changes that. Felipe Coutinho, as wonderful as he is, I feel like he's a higher player. I feel like he's a player
there
with
at the
Champions
moment.
Yes, he is. When it felt like they were on the up.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that
think he
a
wouldn't want to
relegation
stay?
fight is necessarily what he had in mind.
Just to clarify, what you're saying is you think that Aston Villa shouldn't make permanent a deal for Champions League experience, former Barcelona and Liverpool player, Brazilian international Felipe Coutinho, and instead they should buy a central midfielder from Rangers.
Fight, heart, spirit, flair.
This is an easy choice.
Here.
I think we should just agree that Felipe Coutinho on a permanent is the way forward. No offence to Glenn Kamara, good footballer, but if the option's there, just make the deal permanent.
I disagree passionately. But You know,
He's
I'm
going
a
up.
fan of democracy, and therefore he's up.
He's going up. And the next one, I think, is a tap-in agreement for Brentford.
Yeah, I mean, they have to do their best to sign Christian Eriksen, don't they? He's a player who
Is he not a player too high for their level? maybe Kamara would be a good buy.
Yes,
for
but I
Brentford.
think that he will have a debt of gratitude. Yeah. I think that he will have a debt of
He's
gratitude.
being linked to Tottenham Hotspur as well. Obviously, he's currently playing for Brentford. His contract ends at the end of this season.
But the Conte link hasn't always worked, has it? The Conte Eriksen link hasn't always been a snug fit.
Do you not think he'd have better offers, though, than
Yeah,
Brentford? I think in the summer, he's proved so much over this last 4 games or 5 games that he's played and on his international appearances at his return that he can still operate at the Europa League level
I think
minimum.
he's a Champions League player.
Yeah.
I truly believe that he's a Champions League level footballer. But I also think that, considering everything that we know about Christian Eriksen, playing for Brentford could be a very nice fit for him. It's a club that suit him today.
Tap it in then. That's an easy one. Where's this order going here? Get it alongside
next to
Villa,
Villa.
surely.
Next to Villa.
If we're going to be totally honest about this,
Yeah, Paul has started in a.
Yeah.
You might have to move some of these about. You never
symmetry.
know.
Symmetry,
Okay.
my friend.
Okay, so
Moving on to Brighton then, fellas. Paul, who is your option for Brighton?
I have gone for our Lord and Saviour, Divock Origi.
Divock. I love that shout.
There are a handful of clubs, I think, who should have been banging down Liverpool's door for the last 2 seasons for this guy. You know, he hasn't had a great run in terms of, you know, consistent game time for Liverpool, but I mean, my word, goals in every one of the biggest games and pretty much in Liverpool's.
And that is what Brighton miss, isn't it? We see how pretty Brighton's football is under Potter, but they don't have that clinical, elite cutting edge, do they? To put the ball in the back of the net at times. So does your option better?
This is a bit annoying.
Divock?
This is a bit annoying, Paul. I'm going to have to defer. I mean, I went for Brereton Diaz.
Yeah.
Been very, very good.
Been very good, but I must concede.
Divock.
Paul's hit the nail on the head there. If I'd
Paul's
thought of
on fire.
Origi, I would have gone Origi.
Okay.
So I'm going to have to fall on my sword here. I'm sorry.
Respectable.
Put him out, because I mean, Paul's on
Honourable.
fire. We've got 3 out of 4 of Paul's
He's
suggestions.
on fire
so
with his
far. 4
suggestions, but he's
technically.
making a pig's ear of this board.
Yeah, we're going to be
Hang on a second, we said we
Let's go
wanted
a little
4
bit more
rows
to
of
the
5.
left.
Can we
Yeah,
have
you
them
never
all?
know.
We'll deal with that later.
Let's put some respect on it. Let's go to the next side, Burnley. Now, this is a tough one to do, I think, Burnley, because they are potentially going down a division. So,
I think this is the perfect suggestion. Everybody wins in this deal. It is obviously
Philip Jones.
Sir Philip Jones.
It's not the worst shout. I don't mind that suggestion either, because I do think he needs regular game time. And when he's played this season, even though it's only 2 or 3 games, he's looked all right. I know that he was a tough day at Anfield, but who doesn't?
I know, I mean, that was a bit unfair. He was thrown
Exactly.
in there, wasn't he? I think similar sort of vein, I went Nat Phillips.
Oh.
Now, the issue I've got with that is I think Nat Phillips might be too good for the Championship.
Yeah.
And, you know, he's coming up with, he's likely to come up with Bournemouth at the moment, isn't he? I think Burnley should have picked him up last summer, to be honest. I thought that was an absolute no-brainer. He scored against them the season before. It looked like it was written in the stars. Score a big header against Burnley, and you think you're going to draw all the eyes and attention. Phil Jones, I mean, it's the closest thing to going back to Blackburn he's going to get, isn't it? I think Nat Phillips is either or, I'll be perfectly honest.
I think he could do with this move as well. You know, I think it suits Burnley, but I think it could really suit him, playing for a club with less pressure.
Let's go Phil Jones. Let's go Phil Jones. Let's be kind to Rory. Let's give him one.
Thank you.
He's due one, isn't he? He's due one.
Indeed. Okay, then. Moving on to our beloved Chelsea, Rory.
It's an agreement, is it?
Now, I think there is an agreement between you guys on this one. If you show the card,
Yes.
Big Deckers, Declan Rice, I mean, take it
The
away,
main
mate.
man.
How are you affording him? Who's affording him?
Don't worry. Don't worry. Things like that don't actually matter. Have you not heard? What about Barcelona? They had no money. All of a sudden, they're signing everybody. It's ridiculous. I think that we will be able to make it work. The new owners will be coming in. They'll be looking to make a statement. We desperately need somebody in the middle. We desperately need some reinforcements in the middle, because we're a bit lightweight there. You know, maybe Jorginho moves on. And Declan Rice is a truly world-class footballer. He is truly brilliant. I think there were times when I saw him as a kind of defensive midfielder. Then there were times when I saw him potentially even as a centre-half.
Yeah.
And now I think he's proved that he is a genuine, brilliant box-to-box midfielder who can play at the very zenith of the game. He's everything, the sweetest song that I can sing.
But they want 150 mil for him.
It's ridiculous.
It's a bargain. I mean,
That's not a bargain, Rory. 150 million, it can't be.
It's a bargain in the ridiculous world that we operate.
Bargain
in
for an
football.
academy player that used to play for Chelsea.
Do you think that's a bargain?
It's a bargain when
It's not a bargain in any
That's
way,
not.
shape or form.
it's a bargain when Harry Maguire is 80 million. It's a bargain in the context that we
But
have
that
to
was an
operate.
overpayment in itself.
It's a bargain when Wan-Bissaka is 50. It's a bargain in the ridiculous context
it's
that we
not
operate.
a bargain in any of those worlds.
It surely
because
is. He's twice the player of Harry Maguire.
I mean, he's about 5 times the player of Harry Maguire, but it doesn't necessarily mean he should be just double the amount that they pay. It's that no, 150 million.
Bargain.
150. Sure. Come on, whatever. I think Chelsea should buy him, but like, if they want to pay 150 million pound for
But I don't
him,
think you'd actually have to pay that.
no.
I don't think you'd actually have to pay that because I couldn't see a world where West Ham would turn down anything even close to 100. So then it is a bargain.
But he is very, very crucial to them, but very crucial in their Europa League campaign. And I think he obviously wants to play Champions League football. If West Ham go on and do it, and West Ham
Win the
do become
Europa.
massive, which is not your favourite saying,
he will
and
be
win the
geriatric
Champions League.
Let's get him up then, because he's an agreement. Now we're going down to a new row here, I think. We're starting a new row, Raw. Starting a new row.
Oh, my
4 rows of
goodness.
5. This is a disaster in terms of placement. Let's move on to the next player then.
Sorry, can we just have a word for how centrally placed those?
Yeah, they are actually.
I will-
Did we want them
Started
more
really
left?
well.
Is that what this was
No,
about?
actually,
Paul
I
started pretty
believe
well.
Do we want them central? Okay,
well,
cool.
okay.
Just thought we'd.
Next one's an agreement again.
Conor Gallagher, Palace. I mean, I don't want this to happen because I would love Conor Gallagher to be back playing for Chelsea. I think he's good enough to play for Chelsea. I think he gets into our midfield. He brings that busy
you?
quality.
You think he starts for you?
I think he's. Well, if you look at Chelsea's midfield most recently, I think he would offer more to the Chelsea midfield than Ruben Loftus-Cheek. I think he'd offer more to the Chelsea midfield than Jorginho. He's not as good as Kovacic, but we're going to be looking for reinforcements. N'Golo Kante's form has been temperamental at best.
He's only 22.
He's 22 years old. He's done it. He's playing for England. I think he's going to go to the World Cup. And do you know that the best word I can use to describe him, and it's such a compliment, and we need this because we don't have it. Busy.
Yeah.
Just busy and about and lively and aggressive. An eye for a goal. I'd love him to be starting
Get
for
him
Chelsea
up.
next year, but Palace should be going.
An easy agreement then. Everton up next.
Yep, Everton. What are we saying, Paul?
Right, my Evertonian mates will not thank me for this one necessarily, but they should to some extent. Everton need centre halves, good ones. James Tarkowski. They've got no money and they need a Premier League experienced centre back. There you go, simple as that.
It's a good pitch.
I think it's a good shout. I do think it's a good shout, but I've gone slightly more ambitious if it were to work out, and that's
Frank
Billy
Lampard.
Gilmore. The reunion with Frank Lampard. Billy Gilmore under Lampard was sensational, truly sensational. It hasn't worked out for him at Norwich at all, but the quality's there. We saw him turn out a man of the match performance at Wembley for Scotland. We know that he is a truly brilliant player under the right manager. Frank Lampard and him have history. I feel like it could be a good fit.
This is a tough pick. This is a really tough pick.
I feel like the smarter pick is the centre half.
Oh.
But the more fun pick is Billy Gilmore.
So you're going
No, you could pick. I've picked last
I
time.
think James Tarkowski is a really good fit for Everton.
Okay.
I think that's about the level they should be aiming for at the moment. Just like get solid, consistent. So Tarkowski's up.
Nice.
Rory's getting out very consistent. Let's fly through a couple here because we're a bit behind on time. So Leeds selections.
Gone Dennis.
Emmanuel Dennis.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Dennis.
Brendan Aronson, Salzburg.
Yeah.
Just about maybe got the Jesse Marsh connection. I don't know if they totally crossed over there, but American connection certainly. Young lad, attacking midfielder, got quality.
And they wanted him, didn't they, in January?
Yeah, £20 million already rejected for him.
Premier League proven. Premier League proven.
And
Ish.
I do kind of feel like they need a bit of depth behind Bamford. I don't think Rodrigo's quite provided the goals they're expected him to, and we've seen Bamford have such consistent injuries. Should we go with Dennis on this
I
one?
think Dennis. Yeah, I think
We'll go with Dennis on this one, even though it looks like Brendan Harrison probably is going to join the club, right?
Yeah.
Next
Best of both
up,
worlds. Best of both worlds.
what?
This is slightly for Paul's benefit.
Naby?
Naby's too good to play for Leicester.
I probably agree with you.
Actually, no, I'll tell you
Tielemans-
what. No, I'll caveat that. I think if Naby Keita continues to be fit and play for Liverpool, he's too good to play for Leicester. If he continues to be inconsistent, not being able to get on the pitch, that's the level I think his next move is to.
Well, Yuri Tielemans looks like he's probably on the move.
Tielemans moves. They have a tendency, Leicester, for replacing excellent central midfielders with excellent central midfielders. You know, Cambiasso, Kante, Tielemans. They've got a great history in that position. I think Naby Keita is a class act. On his day, I think he's brilliant. Keeping him fit is a different question. But if he's playing regularly, Leicester are going to need to find somebody who is this good.
Yeah.
And he, to me, is a suggestion because as good as he is, he's not good enough to play for Liverpool.
It's tough because they have signed Boubacar Samari, though, as well, and hasn't quite had the impact he wanted to. Why have you gone Roman Saiz?
Because Leicester badly need a centre-half.
They
who can
do.
defend.
It's true.
They've been a shambles defensively this season, and I'm pretty sure he's on a free transfer as
Yeah,
well,
he is,
so they'll be
yes.
able to pick him up for next to nothing and spend the money elsewhere as well. Naby starts in Liverpool's biggest games. That's the thing that's worth remembering. I don't know.
I think that's just too unrealistic for me. I don't see Naby dropping down when he's still.
His contract runs out in 2023,
though, doesn't it? Let's go Roman Sice. Rory's getting mudded here in the selections. Rory's getting absolutely mudded.
Okay then. Well, moving on to
Liverpool. Liverpool. Here we go, Paul.
You're going to love me.
I've got Aurelien Tchouameni, Monaco, the hottest prospect I think in midfield on the continent at the moment, apart from maybe who Rory's going to go with.
Go on, Rory.
Who have you got?
There is only one answer.
Jude
Bellingham.
This man is elite.
18 years old.
And it's such a natural fit for Liverpool, I think. I just think like it really does work for me, this one with Liverpool.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that you now need to fall on your sword here and say, Rory, you're correct. Surely.
Are you going to give him one?
I am going to absolutely let Rory have that one.
Yes, because Paul wants to see it. Paul just wants to see Jude at Liverpool.
Wasn't much arm
It's going to
twisting
cost
there.
a lot of money, though. But all right, moving on
This one's
to
easy.
Man City. You guys are on agreement. It
I'll just
kind
put it
of
out.
looks like it's already done.
Put it
Erling
Erling.
Haaland.
Can we all just pretend this one isn't going to happen?
Well, yeah, it's just insane, isn't it? He's the one, isn't he?
Yeah.
Look at what Man City need. You know, missing out on Kane might end up being one of the worst things that's happened for the rest of the league in terms of longevity.
Is it the general consensus that everybody thinks that Erling Haaland works at City? It just happens, it works. There's no jeopardy. You're not worried about his build-up play. You're not worried the fact that...
Everyone else can do it.
But Man City, they rely on their centre-forward to play in a way that the centre-forward needs to have as good ball distribution as a central midfielder.
But Aguero didn't.
Effectively,
Well,
no.
when
but
Aguero was in the box,
but
Pep was he was on fire under Pep.
But the pursuit of Kane would suggest that they've kind of changed that
But I
philosophy.
think that's because Kane is that player that can do it all. Like they don't necessarily need a player that can do it all. It's just that would have been a glorious option.
I'm finding the guarantee around Haaland odd. I don't think it is as guaranteed as people think. I mean, we've seen players come into the league before and struggle. I don't think his build-up play is necessarily good enough for a Guardiola team. Obviously, there are amazing attributes, and if it goes well, it's a frightening prospect. But I feel that everybody's just giving it the sign-off.
Aguero kind of proved, though, didn't he, that if you can just score goals,
Yeah, and
Guardiola will
Lewandowski.
make allowances for it. Yeah, exactly.
Lewandowski at Bayern under Pep. Let's go Man United then, because we've got a bit of debate here.
You're going to like this, I think.
I do like this one.
What do you think?
Yeah, Christopher Nkunku versus Yuri Tielemans. Now, Tielemans, I think, is a good option for United, though.
Absolutely. I don't know that United are good enough to get him. To be honest, I don't know whether he would think I've got miles better prospects at United than Leicester. It depends if there's another club.
That's such a brilliant
So
insult.
solid there.
That was such a
insulting.
passive insult. Yeah.
The only thing I think
Leicester
about...
to Manchester United. I'm not sure if there's enough going for it.
The only thing I think
Harry
about
Maguire,
Tielemans,
you know.
though, is we've seen Man United have huge physicality problems, like getting around the pitch, being aggressive, legs in midfield. I do think that is something that United are going to look to add in the summer.
Yeah.
That's not his game
I
necessarily.
think it depends how Man United want to play. I wouldn't say I agree. I think a proper
DM,
destroyer
yeah.
in midfield is probably the answer. But also you can't just have that. You
No.
need to have the skill set. You need to have guys who are good.
I'm just going for goals.
Nkunku, goals.
Goals galore.
Yeah,
And
done it
that's
in
what
Europe
they
as
need.
well.
Done it in Europe. Guarantee for goals. And then it's Rashford, Martial. It's not happening up front. Ronaldo's obviously getting on. It has to be Nkunku for me.
Well, this one is... When I saw this earlier, I couldn't
believe
it.
this.
Newcastle.
Have you seen this shout?
Please show us your shout.
Neymar.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So Neymar, right? I mean, what's the point of being the richest football club in the world if you can't go and spend that money on something that draws?
About 200 million.
Why
at
not?
least.
You know what? Just find that down the back of the couch.
In the same time that Mbappe leaves, Neymar leaves, I think there would be riots in Paris.
Yeah.
Although I think the Parisian fans are getting slightly bored of
They
the
are,
project.
yeah. There's been booze. Who have you brought to the table?
I feel slightly uninspired by my suggestion now. Gone for Brentford's Ivan Toney.
But a previous Newcastle player as well.
Yeah,
I mean, he's got links there.
It feels a lot more realistic, but it also feels a lot less fun. I kind of want this one to happen rather than this one.
Nah, let's put Ivan Toney up. I think that's realistic. I think Neymar's a fun shout, but it's just madness.
I can't believe it.
It's madness. I think we can fly through these next two. Norwich are a team that's dropping down. Any
Everyone's
suggestions?
Robinho there. Ben Mee, I've gone for Norwich.
Harry Winks.
Ooh.
Soon to be Burnley manager full time.
Yeah, you might not even get a chance in the dugout.
Oh,
Let's just fly through. I reckon Winksy drops down a division, refines his form, comes back up.
Okay, all right, I like that.
Winksy's up.
Winks.
God, I'm
Go on,
flying,
get
Paul.
Winks
You
up
need to up
there.
your game a bit, my friend.
I feel like time's helping your case a little
Yeah, I
bit,
think it is as well. Totally. Southampton.
Southampton,
Joe
Rebo. Or Emmanuel Dennis.
Oh, now we've already got Emmanuel Dennis on the board.
You can't put him on twice.
So
It's
can
a
we?
mockery of your
Yeah,
board.
we can.
actually
Then
can't-
it's
How can we put him on twice? It means he's signed for two clubs.
Right, okay,
So
cool.
Paul's now been
yeah.
done. So
Wow.
now
Just
it's an
wow.
auto Joe Aribo.
It's a
selection.
Done by the alphabetical to the football
We
team.
didn't
Excellent.
even get a reason behind Aribo. We're so short on time that we've just stuck
I've
him
got
up
a
because
brilliant
Emmanuel's
one
already
here.
up there.
This is you're about to lose this one, I'm afraid. Tarek
Tottenham
Lamptey,
Hotspur.
Tottenham.
Oh.
Conte, fullbacks.
Right
Lamptey,
wing
brilliant. It just makes so much
Get
sense.
your checkbook out.
Paulo
Paulo
Dybala,
Dybala.
though, on a free.
His system. The system
Yeah,
of
but
Conte.
And where does
spirit
Dybala-
of 1994, Tottenham Hotspur, just give them some fun.
But where
give
does
them
he
some fun
fit in the
times.
front three with
Genuinely
Kulusevski
doesn't
and
matter.
Kane and Son?
Paulo Dybala, you find a way to fit him into your system, no matter what. Channel that whole like Klinsmann spirit, get a nice excitement.
The famous
in
five.
there. Yeah, get the fans off the seats again. Yeah, you know.
I'm just not sure. I actually don't think Dybala starts in that Juve front line.
also-
in that Spurs front line right
They'll
now.
also have to pay him a lot of money, 215k a week at the moment at Juventus. Tarek Lamptey's not going to be cheap either.
He's on a free.
Get Dybala up, it's more fun. It's more fun.
Wow, that's a much better. I disagree with you there. I think Lamptey should have gone up. I'm raging.
Well, let us know at home, I guess.
Yeah,
It's
he's up,
on Twitter,
unfortunately.
get at us.
Yeah, I'm not
Okay,
having that at all.
Watford, guys, another team that look like they're
Ooh.
probably going to go down.
Reece Nelson.
Reece
Ashley Barnes.
Ashley Barnes.
Ashley Barnes.
Oh.
Reece Nelson, I think, does need a fresh start at this stage. He's obviously been on loan at Feyenoord this season,
Yeah.
hasn't he?
Yeah.
And I feel like if you haven't, like Arteta's given so many chances to so many young players now. If you're one of the ones that hasn't got in and had a consistent run, it's probably time for a fresh start. Whereas Ashley Barnes is like 32 at this stage.
Yeah, for the
isn't it?
future of Watford, I think Reece Nelson's
up.
Because especially if it's something like Ismaila Sarr was to leave in the summer,
Yeah.
Reece Nelson can play in a number of different roles.
I think we're missing out on the potential next Troy Deeney.
Ashley Barnes.
Okay, West Ham, guys.
Ooh.
What are we saying here?
I think they need to replace Fabianski. I've gone for Nick Pope.
He is 37, Fabianski.
Wow, I actually didn't know he was that old. Ismaila Sarr. I think they need another for the front line. We all know Antonio. I know he's not playing centre forward, but we know Antonio's not going to go on forever. Jared Bowen, will he be moved on at some point? Having one more attacking option, I think if West Ham want to sustain being a European side, you need rotational options.
Well, this is a close debate, I think. The only thing I will say is they've got Areola on loan at the moment. He's probably not going to go back to PSG, given they've got Keylor Navas and Donnarumma
Fulham
there.
are interested in Areola as well, possibly.
Played there
Don't get
before, isn't he?
promoted.
Nick Pope's going to have a lot of suitors, I think, if he is available.
They
That
need,
is
it's
only-
tricky because they need a keeper, but they do also need a forward. Like they do
But
need.
does it? Ismaila Sarr, I feel like, plays the same role as Jared Bowen wants to play, coming in off that right-hand side. I think they need a centre forward more than they need a.
Indeed. Spurs are also interested in Nick Pope, 2023 contract. I think Ismaila Sarr would be my
I'd go
choice.
Nick Pope.
Nick
I'm not
Pope.
happy with you here. How can we be disagreeing as meant to be picking the
you
It should be a unified front.
Yeah, if you two aren't singing
It's
off
just
the
your
same hymn
pitches.
sheet,
It's
you've
your
made- right,
pitches.
I'm hearing in my ear that you
Crap.
made the last choice, so I get to pick this
Okay,
one, so I'm
okay,
going
fair
Pope.
play. Good point. Wow.
Fantastic.
We've had a real
All right.
comeback here because Paul started so strong and now it's
Yeah.
all Rory.
It's in the
Well
bag,
then.
and I've finally. This is definitely.
When we've run out of time for making proper arguments, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, basically.
Eddie
Cavani.
Cavani.
Yeah. I mean, I was convinced of this one. Again, you know, Raul Jimenez needs someone else there up top to provide the goals. He's incredibly good. He'll fit the style, bringing people
But he only
in.
plays once a
He
season.
doesn't turn up.
Yeah.
He only turns up when he fancies it. It's
I'm
ridiculous.
not sure. I think he's committed to the cause. However, look,
committed.
I've seen yours, and look, I mean, he's Portuguese. So, you know, there we go.
Not only is he Portuguese though, but it is a slightly aging midfield in which Raul Moutinho does eventually need
Neves might be
replaces.
off
So I
too.
think
Yeah.
it's
Indeed.
probably got to be Renato.
Get
Renato
Sanchez
Sanchez.
on the
Got to be
board.
Renato Sanchez.
We'll count up during the break.
That's a landslide Rory victory.
We'll
there.
count up during the break.
I
I
don't know, I
can't
think
quite
you'd be
remember.
surprised. I think at the start they're almost
Yeah.
all Paul. When we actually had to
sign
make
of what's to
arguments,
come in the FA
and we
Cup
weren't just
final.
flying through for time. It was very, very close. But there is the list of one player that should be signing for each Premier League club.